John Edmonds put his Arizona ranch up for sale after enduring years of violent alien encounters. Edmonds claims that, since he and his wife moved in 1995, they've seen portals and extraterrestrial beings, and that creatures attempted to abduct his wife. Edmonds even claims to have killed several Greys with a samurai sword. Jesse Long claims to have been abducted by aliens multiple times. The first event happened in 1957, when he was just 5 years old. Long says he has been taken into various alien spacecraft to be probed and tested by tall, slender creatures. Long says he's even been forced to have sex with alien females so that they can produce hybrid children. The story of Antonio Vilas Boas' apparent alien abduction gained international attention. According to the Brazilian farmer, he was working in a field in 1957 when he saw a bright red light in the sky. The light got closer and closer until he realized it belonged to an oval-shaped craft of some kind. Unable to outrun the craft, Vilas Boas was grabbed by 3 alien beings. They stripped him and covered him in a gel-like substance, and he was forced to have sex with a female alien. Despite there being little evidence to back up his claims, Vilas Boas insisted the tale was true right up until his death in 1991. Yaphet Kotto, star of films such as Alien, revealed in an interview with Vice that he has encountered aliens multiple times throughout his life. The actor says that his first run-in started when he was just 9 years old. He claims alien craft follow him, and that he's been abducted too. Kotto says he's speaking out about his alien encounters to spread awareness they aren't going to go away. And I honestly believe these species are close to making themselves known in this century, to this generation. I believe their purpose is to make sure we don't kill ourselves. We're losing our rivers, lakes, mountains, and our caps are melting. We need to take a serious look at what we're doing, and they're going to help us do that. A Russian man named Boriska Kiprianovich has continually confounded experts. He was able to read and write at a phenomenally young age, could hold his own head up unassisted a week after he was born, and had detailed knowledge of subjects he had never been taught. Kiprianovich has an explanation. He says he's a reborn Martian who lived on the Red Planet after a nuclear catastrophe decimated the surface. According to him, 7-foot-tall Martians still live underground on the planet. They also apparently have a connection with the Egyptians. Some mysterious key is hidden behind the ear of the Great Sphinx. Linda Napolitano was seemingly abducted by aliens from her Brooklyn apartment in 1989. Stranger still, the event happened in front of witnesses. 2 men acting as bodyguards for an important political figure saw her being taken up into an alien craft. Napolitano said she was experimented on before being released back to Earth. 4 men who were out fishing in Maine during the summer of 1976 claim that they were abducted by a group of aliens. The 2 brothers and their friends said they saw strange lights in the sky and then woke up on the shore without any idea of what had happened. Hypnotic regression seemingly uncovered the truth. The men had been taken by creatures with 4 fingers who had then carried out a series of tests using probes and needles. Travis Walton was seemingly blasted by a weapon from a UFO in 1975, and then brought aboard the spaceship by its alien pilots. Reports at the time state that the event was witnessed by 6 forestry workers who were at the site when the strange event unfolded. They claimed to have saw the craft rise over the trees before shooting some sort of energy weapon at Walton. The police initially thought the men had killed Walton, but he turned up 5 days later. He claimed he had been abducted and had had to fight his way off the ship to escape. Amy Rylance states that she was abducted by aliens in 2001 while in her home in Australia. She was sitting up late watching television while her friend was in another room reading. Her husband was asleep upstairs. A bright white light then entered the room she was in, and Rylance's friend witnessed her being pulled up into the light. The friend and husband frantically searched the surrounding area and called the police to report Rylance missing. She was found several hours later, miles away from her house and with strange marks on her body. Elizabeth Murray had a traumatic incident in 2012. She called her husband Scott one day, and he rushed home to find her dazed and in an intense emotional state. He took her to the hospital, where doctors determined she hadn't suffered any serious injuries. Murray hadn't been drugged or raped, but she did have a large burn on one shoulder. Scott later found similar burns in his backyard and on a tree. Murray eventually saw a hypnotist specializing in regression, who helped her remember a terrifying abduction by extraterrestrials. She recalled them experimenting on her, and the trauma of the supposed event was so great that she ultimately ended her own life. In 1971, Wing Commander Alan Turner, an officer in the UK's RAF, spotted 6 or 7 fast-moving blips on his radar. Using specialized tools, he was able to determine that these unidentified craft were at an altitude of around 3,000 feet. They then quickly ascended to some 60,000 feet before disappearing altogether. This elevation change in such a small amount of time was simply not possible for any fighter jet or military aircraft available in 1971. The event was witnessed not only by Turner, but by 10 other on-duty personnel and several others at other nearby RAF bases. In October 1978, amateur pilot Frederick Valentic disappeared while flying over the Bass Strait in Australia. Despite assurances from air traffic control that there were no other aircraft in his vicinity, the 20-year-old maintained that he was being followed by a huge craft that did not look like a conventional plane. It continued to track him for several minutes before Valentic reported that his engine was malfunctioning and all contact was lost with him. Operators then heard a 17-second long metallic scraping sound. No sign of the pilot or his plane was ever found.